Hi everyone, David Burgess here again with Keller Williams Realty. I hope you're keeping well. Welcome back to my channel. If you tuned in last week, you'll remember that I had to do this new construction market update separately from the resale one that I did a week ago. And today we're going to talk about how things are looking in the new construction market, expectations of what to really expect as you move forward if you're going to contract within the next month or so, as I can only really talk about how things are right now. And I'm going to show you my setbacks, my successes, and really just to, I'm just going to go over a few things that we just haven't seen before. One of those things is an escalation clause, which has been introduced by a certain builder, and I'm just going to talk about the pros and cons of that and the implications of whether, if you do go for it, of how that may have a knock-on effect with other builders too. So stick around. We've got about 15 to 20 minutes of talking about all things new homes and what to expect from July 2021 onwards. Okay, so new homes. So just as we delve on into this, guys, there are three expectations that you really need to know before moving forward with a new home here, and really just three things that aren't gonna sit too well with you, but I've got to be real and tell you that this is something I've come across near enough on every single occasion. So three expectations. Firstly, I would expect to spend between 10 to 15% higher than your initial budget. If your initial budget here is 400,000, expect to spend 10 to 15% more. That is exactly the same if you're wanting to spend 600, 900, or right up into the 2 million range. I promise you that if you want everything that you're looking for in a home here, expect the value of that home or the cost of that home to be anywhere between 10 to 15% more. And that's, I'm seeing that right across the board with absolutely everybody right now. And most of the times people are okay with that if they get everything they want. When they're kind of settling for something or it's not really what they're looking for, that's when they get a little bit disillusioned and start to look at other options or different areas or want to wait for the market to cool down. But I would absolutely expect to spend 10 to 15% more if you're wanting a new construction home, anytime in the near future. Expectation number two, bidding. Expect to bid and offer a highest and best situation for your lot. Now, the prices obviously have steadily increased over the past 6 months or so. Some builders have kind of done these in real hikes. They've gone just overnight. They've gone up 25,000 or 30,000 or whatever, but most other builders have steadily increased them every 3 or 4 sales. They've gone up 1 or 2,000. But that's just on the base price. When it comes to the lot, a lot of these builders are doing a highest and best situation where they're going to release 5 homes in a week or a month, and people have to bid for these lots. Expect to be bidding for them, because I promise you, probably around 75% of builders right now. Sorry guys, I'm squinting, I have to put my shades on. I would say around 75% of builders right now are taking bids. Now, the alternative to that is going on a wait list. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of bidding for a lot, which I totally understand. However, when you look at the alternative, if you're going on a wait list and you have to wait 3 to 4 months before being even in a position to be given the chance to jump on a lot that becomes available, a lot that may or may not even be desirable for you, then in that time frame, the price is probably going to have gone up 20 to 30,000 anyway, or at least a good 5% or so. So it's like, I've had this, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on, but I've had people that have missed out on these bids. But when they, on the second or the third attempt, they wish they'd just gone higher initially, because in that time difference of the following month or 2 months later, that price of the home has gone up, 15 or 20,000 in the meantime. So I would absolutely expect that to continue. While the demand is so high for new homes, you're probably going to have to bid. So that's expectation number two. And expectation number three are delays, or at least expect the home to take longer than what you initially planned. You know, it was at the start of this year, yeah, probably around January, near enough every builder was 6 to 8 months, and most of them would have delivered you a home within 6 to 7 months. Now they've kind of moved on to 8 to 10 months, but now, you know, the more we're going on and we're seeing a shortage of supply chains, materials, labor, they're more in the 10 to 12 month category. So if you're wanting to be here next summer, now is the time to really start looking and making offers, and really, because I promise you, these homes, I don't think this is going to change anytime soon in the time frame to actually construct a home. We've seen shortages of windows, especially lately, insulation, AC, you know, shortage of AC units, and the companies to come and actually install them. I've seen delays of things like paint. I had two builders with Meritage and with Neil Communities where the home was delayed by around 3 weeks or so. And they were like, yeah, our paint contractors haven't been paid for a couple of weeks, but they'll be here next week. And I'm like, God, it's just a painter, you know. And then the following week they'd say, oh yeah, we did pay them, but they didn't receive the bill in time, so these painters have gone on to another contract, but they will be here the week after. Really minor things, like small, tiny little things that you would never expect, you know, or at least in a normal market, to delay a home being built. But we're seeing this across the board at the moment. So I would expect delays, and while we're on to delays, I'm going to show you all of the delays that I have with with my homes that are being built at the moment. But sorry to start on a real kind of pessimistic note and a sour note, but I've really got to show you the delays that have been holding up my closings this year, just so you're on board with not just 1 or 2 builders, but pretty much all of them across the board. So I thought the best way of doing this would be to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and I can show you the homes that I have under contract, or at least some of them, but these are the ones that have been affected most by the delays, and I'm going to start from most delayed to least delayed. But this one here with Stock Signature in Lake Club in Lakewood Ranch, this one we got under contract with. This is the Birchwood, beautiful home. It truly is a beautiful custom home in one of Lakewood's finest communities. We got under contract with this one in February, and this one was supposed to take around a year to build all in, but they're not actually going to start this one until like October or the fall time, and then it's going to take 12 to 14 months from there. So that's the longest delay I've seen by a long stretch, actually. So, you know, buyers are obviously disappointed. They're moving here from Arizona. They absolutely love the area and the home, and, you know, the price of their home's increased in that time. So they're happy with that, but waiting that long, they really weren't kind of expecting that. So that's been the most disappointing one. This one is the Amethyst with GL Homes up in Winding Ridge in Wesley Chapel. Beautiful, beautiful home. This one's supposed to be ready by the end of next month, but we got under contract with this one in April last year, and this was supposed to take a year. So this one's been delayed by around 4 months, maybe about 3 or 4 months on top of the year time frame. And a year, if you go back to the start of this year, a year was a long time to build a house. You didn't see many builders, you know, taking longer than a year to build one. So, you know, I felt for this young family, because they moved from New York City, and they're in an apartment. And I'm going to talk about apartments a little bit later on, and moving to the area and checking up on the home on a daily basis, and how that can just have a real kind of negative effect on your experience of building a home. But anyway, yeah, that's the Amethyst with GL Homes, and that one's 3 or 4 months. So yeah, next delay, Pulte Homes. Now this is the Stonewater in Shoreview in Lakewood Ranch, back in Lakewood. Beautiful home on an absolutely stunning lot. We got under contract for this one in January, and they were like, yep, 6 months, this will be done in 6 months, no problem. You know, and then even then I was like, wow, you know, that's pretty short time frame, 6 months. But you know, 6 months would be now in July, and we're at drywall stage. And you know, yesterday, I think it was a couple of days ago, you know, had the pre-drywall meeting, and you know, the pool hasn't even been started being built yet. So we're a good 3 or 4 months away from that. I'd expect October or November with this one. So as you can see, we're moving through variety of different builders here. Homes by West Bay is the next one. I've got 2 bay shores being built at the moment, one up in Bexley, one down in Triple Creek. Both of these were under contract toward, I think it was more kind of around August, September time last year. Still not ready yet. One of them is going to be ready at the start of August. The other one is supposedly going to be the end of August. The one in Bexley, I think, will be okay. The one in Triple Creek may well be September. And Melody and Artie, if you're watching this, I'm sorry to say that, but it might be early September. I'm really, crossing my fingers though that we can get this done by the end of August. Artistry and Coulter Homes. This home, we've been under contract for this one. This again was the end of last year. Should have taken 6 to 8 months. This is the Renoir, beautiful home. Artistry must be one of the hottest communities in Sarasota. Buyers very happy at the time, but this one's really starting to drag on now. And we're about 3 to 4 months delayed. This one's going to be ready in September, October time. We then moved to a very similar and nearby community with MI Homes, Revo Lakes, this beautiful home. To be fair to these guys, they did, to MI, they did tell us off the, quite early on that this was going to be delayed by around 3 months. But as you can see, the roof isn't even on yet with this one. I expect this one to probably be October, November time. And then I've just had a closing with Neil Communities for the Dream in Canoe Creek. That one was about 2 months delayed. That was a spec home. And when we got under contract for it in, I think it was January, this was supposed to be in April. And at that time, the home had already started construction and, they were very confident that it was going to be April. But we ended up closing on this one in June. And then we have this Lennar home in Polo Run. This one was 2 months delayed. By a young couple moving from California. So they had to kind of delay their plans. So that's Lennar Homes. And then the final one that I'll mention is Meritage. So there's 9 different builders here that have all been delayed. This one was delayed by about a month. This one was a spec home, and it was in Cross Creek. And this was the one that had really minor delays for like paint and just like the most smallest little items. To be fair, it was one of the final homes in the community, so the construction manager had checked out and he was in another community and didn't seem to care too much. So yeah, I really just wanted to run through you there with what the homes that I do have that are under construction that have really just taken a while. And just going back to what I was saying about apartments, I've had quite a few people move here. And they obviously want to oversee the construction of their home, but they're going to the home every day or every other day, and they're finding it really frustrating, especially when something like windows, Windows holds up the construction of the home so much. It can hold things up for 6 weeks to 2 months. And if you're going to the home every 2 or 3 times a week and nothing's happening, and you're apartment living, all of your stuff is in storage, it's not an ideal scenario. So unless you have to move here now, I actually don't recommend it. If you can stay at home, if this is a second home purchase, or you can stay with family, anywhere that isn't right around the corner from your home, I personally recommend it, because I think that you will appreciate the fact that I can always go there and do videos for you and photos, and so can your construction manager, keep you obviously up to date with everything. But overseeing things 2 or 3 times a week, I don't recommend it right now, because I promise you, you'll be frustrated, unfortunately to say. So let's move on to my successes and my setbacks, and then I'm going to move on to some other things that I've seen in this neighborhood, in this market, sorry, and we'll just run through just things to look out for, and then I'm going to leave it on a positive spin with some kind of good news that I am starting to see with the market shifting a little bit. Now then, successes and setbacks. So I'm going to start with a few homes that I consider to be the most successful ones I've had, that I haven't mentioned to you before on this channel, pretty much because they were harder to get under contract with, or they were right at the end of their phase and they don't have any openings now and they won in bidding situations. So I'm going to start. I've had 3 Medallion homes that I've got under contract for. One of them is this one here, which is a spec home. In fact, all 3 of these were spec homes, but right at the very early stages of the spec, where they were just going through permitting and they hadn't started construction yet. But this beautiful home is the Aruba in Cross Creek with Medallion. Beautiful lot, this one, on a really spacious lot. We got under contract with this, I think it was January or February. But yes, this one is not going to be ready until the end of the year. But this one was, again, there's hardly, I don't think there's any opportunity left in Cross Creek right now. And if there was, these homes would be snapped up left and right. So the buyers were very happy to get under contract with this one. And then right around the corner at the reserve at Twin Rivers, I have 2 homes that are on, honestly, just stunning lots. And they're like a stone's throw from one another, as you can see here. You have got this is the Aruba again, with the bonus room at the back. This one has water at the back of it, a beautiful lot, and then it has water right at the front of the lot as well. Just a really unique lot, very spacious. And then I have the Santa Maria being built here, which is, they're both ready for around December time. Again, spec homes, but the buyers loved what they were adding to the homes, and they missed out on this escalation clause of Medallion Homes, which I'm going to mention in a minute. But as we work through these, the Beacon with Taylor Morrison in Sky Ranch, I absolutely love this home. I really, really do. The buyers just got in there before this phase closed, and they didn't have to bid on this home. They just got in at the right time. So they were over the moon, moving here from New York, and yeah, I'm really excited to see this one. This one's probably in the 1.1 range, maybe just a little bit less than that all in. But Sky Ranch is going to be some community, it really is. And although they don't have too many openings right now, with the Esplanade being built in there as well, I think it's going to be really hot. So I would definitely explore that community. This one was really, really surprising last week. So the Perry family came down from New York last week, and we'd already done our homework. They kind of knew where they wanted to be, and we looked at the Esplanade Artisan Lakes community in Palmetto, and to my surprise, we walked in there and they loved the Lazio floor plan. Everyone loves the Lazio with Taylor Morrison, and they had 3 lots available on the water. Beautiful lots, as you can see right here. West facing, going to get beautiful sunset behind you. And I was like, wow, see, we can just go to contract with no, that's the first time I've seen that in months and months and months, since around February time. And I think that the ultimate factor is there's a brand new Del Webb community right around the corner, and they've sold like 75 homes in 3 weeks. So I think everyone's flocking there at the moment, and I think at this community at Artisan Lakes, the lot premium had gone up to like 75,000, and it got to that stage where I think people were like, no, we're going to check out Del Webb up the road. But yeah, we went to contract, and the most ironic thing was that the following day we actually, you know, went to sign everything, and overnight the lot had come down by $10,000, which I just haven't seen anything like that. But because no one had bought one in 2 weeks, you know, there was a 10,000 decrease. So buyers were very, very happy. But, you know, it goes to show that, you know, things aren't going to carry on increasing forever, and it comes to a stage where, you know, we are going to see some openings like this. You know, the very hottest communities are always still going to get snapped up. The best lots, you know, they're going to go. Places like Esplanade, Azario in Lakewood, Artistry, you know, Sky Ranch, Winding Ridge, those kind of communities, Starkey up in Odessa, those really hot communities are always going to sell very, very well. But it goes to show that if you just keep exploring your options around you, there are openings. And I'm just going to finish up here with the the Pompano, which is with WPI Homes in South Shore Yacht Club in Ruskin. This was the final Pompano, and you've seen me cover this floor plan before. I was so happy because my buyer, he was like, this is the only floor plan that could work for him. And this wasn't the highest and best situation, although Lennar WPI threatened that it would be. They actually said, look, he was on a wait list for like 3 months, and then eventually they opened it up and said, you're first on the list, you can move forward on it. The last Pompano, excluding the model home, was this one. So really, really excited for him. It's a beautiful lot, and it has water access with a private dock that goes right out to the water. So yes, Tim, very, very happy. And then finally, this brand new community opened up in Riverview in Cedarbrook with MI Homes. This was a long VIP list, and yeah, you know, buyer had a pretty tight budget for a bigger home, and really it was my kind of relationship with Jessica there, the sales agent, that kind of nudged us up the list a little bit, and we got in right away. We had to choose our favorite lots, and we got the very top pick of the lot that we wanted, or my buyer wanted, but the only thing is he had to pay $3,000 over the base price, as they had to increase the price during that process. But $3,000 in the bigger scheme of things is very little compared to most other builders. So yeah, those are my successes. But setbacks, while I'm here, bidding, I've had a few where I've missed out on bidding. You know, Bayview and Parish, that one's been tricky. We've had a couple of buyers, I think we've had 3 buyers that have bid on these lots, and they are selling a handful of homes a week, but some of those bids are going right up to the 100,000 mark for some of those lots. So we've missed out there, although one of them was second place, and they called us up the following week and said the first choice is backed out. So we got under contract for that. And then Medley in South Shore Bay in Waimama, we have missed out on a couple of those as well. You know, that community 55 plus again, you know, the community has one of the lowest fees there, and it has a crystal lagoon that is being built, so it's going to get a lot of attention. So you know, if again, you know, you have to, when you're making bids of like $1,000 over the asking price or the suggested price, you're going to get beat out by people that are going to make an offer which is 10 or 15,000 over. You know, buyers still interested, but they're just dejected and having to pick themselves up again and go again. So I've had a couple of those. I'm going to list this as a setback. I was successful with one Lennar community polo run for this home in yeah, with Lennar, with the pool. This was suggested at 615, but we got under contract for it at 655. Now, a buyer was coming from Maryland, and he was like, look, what do you recommend I bid on this? And I said I wouldn't go higher than 650. And he said, well, if I go 650 and somebody's come in at 651 or 652, I'm going to be really upset. I'm going to go 655. Went to 655, and he won it. So he won it, which was great. But then the Lennar sales agent turned around and said, yeah, you were 25,000 over the second highest bidder. Why did he have to say that? I have no idea, but obviously the buyer wasn't very happy, moved forward, but he just wished he hadn't known that information. In the end, he ended up selling his home in Maryland for like 40,000 more than he was hoping for, so it all was a bit of a wash in the end. But I consider that a setback, because it was just another kind of, you know, another experience where the buyers weren't happy, you know, and we're getting this on people that are on the wait lists, people that are missing out on bidding, people that are delays. There's a lot of frustration out there, guys, and I just have to be real with you and tell you that. Now, the other one, MI Homes. I had 2 brothers come here from New York, and they really wanted to live close by. They came here in February, and they just missed out on being able to go to contract, honestly, by around a week. They were on a wait list. They were on wait lists here, there, and everywhere. They loved the kind of grand sale, or the, you know, those kind of homes with the grand view with MI Homes. But we got under contract eventually for this beautiful lot here in Watergrass, which I'm showing you. I went there, did a video for him, this community, and the sales agent there, who'd been really helpful up to now, and I'm not going to bash MI too much, but this was so disappointing. Imagine being on a wait list for 3 months, and then you get this golden opportunity to move exactly where you want to, And I go there, we pick, there's these 3 beautiful lots on this cul-de-sac, and he wants the one right in the middle. And the agent's like, great, that's fine. Something then happens where she had to leave and she had to go home, and she comes back the following day and says, sorry, I had to go home due to a family emergency. I've come back in this morning, and another agent has actually snapped up that lot that you wanted, and we only have the one which is to the left, the one that has kind of power lines behind it. And I was like, I just felt so sorry for him. And he was obviously naturally really annoyed. We went up the chain to the sales manager, nothing that could be done. And it transpires that this lot was sold to an MI employee. And I'm like, this doesn't help whatsoever. So an MI employee had, you know, preference over my buyer, and in the end it worked out for the best, because we waited around another month. We got pushed up the ladder in the K-Bar ranch community, and he got to get on this beautiful lot here in K-Bar. But for another month, you know, of months of waiting, and then a real high of getting a lot, and then a real low of missing out on it to an MI employee, and then finally they did come good for us, and we got under contract here, you know, in K-Bar, on this beautiful lot. So overall it worked out, but God, that was another setback at the time. And his brother ended up buying a townhouse in Wesley Chapel, in Union Park. His mentality, and we have had this from 2 or 3 people, his mentality was that he cannot find exactly what he wants at the moment. He wants the market to cool down a little bit. So he's going to move here, move into a townhouse, live here for 2 or 3 years. These townhouses have like schools right around them, right across the street, in a charter school. And he's like, look, I'm gonna, you know, once my situation improves a little bit, I'm gonna keep hold of this house and I'm gonna rent it out. I mean, these townhouses rent out for like over $2,000 a month. So we've had 3 of these now, and I'm not gonna go through all of them, but we've had 3 of them where people are like, look, I'm gonna wait for things to cool down. I'm gonna go somewhere as like a stepping stone, and then I'm gonna move on to somewhere else. And it's not a bad idea if, you know, if you cannot find exactly what you're looking for at the moment, but you do wanna move to Florida, and you can see yourselves maybe investing in something smaller and keeping hold of it, moving forward, or selling it in 2 or 3 years time once you've built some equity up into it. So yeah, so that is successes and setbacks, and I'm just gonna leave you on a note really of things moving forward and how I see things, and I'm going to go over this escalation clause. So let me just wrap it up here and go over a few things moving forwards. Okay, so yes, this escalation clause. So Medallion Homes introduced this. I had a lovely couple from Texas who really wanted to buy in the reserve at Twin Rivers. I went to the lot, we went through structural options, priced out everything, and then Medallion turned around and said, yeah, we have this new escalation clause which has introduced a 5% increase during the build process. Now, if you're up to date, up to speed with things, you'll notice that material prices are actually coming down. So if materials are coming down, in theory, you'd think, well, you know, maybe this 5% won't be needed. Maybe it's just a thing just to cover themselves, but they don't have to justify anything. I mean, this basically says, and I can send this to you if you want a copy to read it. It basically just says that if you are building with Medallion Homes, they have the right and their discretion to increase the prices up to 5% of the full purchase price, which is a lot of money, guys. It really is. And they can do it. They don't have to justify it. They don't have to say insulation increased by 10,000 last week. They can just increase this willy-nilly. So I do not recommend this unless you are desperate, unless you've gone through absolutely everything. And I can promise you that if you entertain this, other builders in the area will catch on and they will do the same thing. And I just really don't encourage it. Apparently, these are pretty popular. Well, I wouldn't say popular, they're unpopular, but apparently these are pretty common across the nation. Apparently 50% of builders nationally have introduced these, but these are not common in Florida. I haven't seen any other builder introduce this. So that's just something to be aware of, and I'm really hoping this isn't something that we're going to see more and more of, because I promise you, if Medallion get away from it, then other builders will too. I think we're going to see more and more spec homes moving forward. The rumour is Homes by West Bay are going to start all of their homes from September onwards are all going to be spec homes, and they're a semi-custom builder, but they build some beautifully custom homes too. And I'm amazed to hear that. But when you think about it logically, you know, DR Horton and Lennar, they're the biggest spec home builders and inventory builders, but they're not selling anything until until the home is under roof. It's got a roof on it, or it's got the drywall installed. Why are they doing that? Because then they know the true cost of how much the home is costing to build, and they don't have to introduce any of these escalation clauses. You know, a lot of these builders are regretting selling a home 12, 18 months ago for 25% less than what it is now. So, you know, you do have to expect more spec homes to be built. I think we're going to start seeing this more and more now. You know, if the builder has got more control over the cost of it, I think that's what you're going to see. So I would absolutely expect to see more and more spec homes built. The advantage to that, obviously, is the home is going to take less time to build, but you're not going to be able to customize as much. So just keep that in mind. You know, I know for a fact, like somewhere like Cordova Estates in Lutz, they're going to have a lot of homes available soon that are all going to be predetermined, pre-selected by the sales agents. They are going to be nice homes, guys. These builders don't select things that buyers don't want. They do have good experience in picking the right colors and the right structural options. So I wouldn't take that as too much of a negative, but I would just expect that moving forward. So those are the real things that I can really mention on this video, and I don't want to make this too long because I've already spoken longer than I was hoping to. But I would absolutely expect, you know, more spec homes, and I'm really hoping not so many more of these escalation clauses, but it wouldn't surprise me. We are starting to see things change a little bit, just a little bit. I'm starting to see more emails from sales agents and more phone calls saying, look, we've got these openings here, we've got these lots become available, we're going to start building in October, they're going to be ready in June and July. I don't expect to see that on the real the hottest communities that I mentioned. You know, they are always going to be in high demand. Somewhere like Esplanade, Azario is on fire. Like, you go there in the parking lot and it is just a conveyor belt of people coming in and out. It's the only golf course community really with homes being built on them. And even for non-golfers, a lot of people just love their floor plans, love the location. I don't expect any changes in those communities, but they're in certain areas like in Parish and Palmetto, there are going to be opportunities, definitely. Maybe a bit of Bradenton. You know, even Wesley Chapel and Lando Lakes, I think you're going to start seeing little communities pop up and more availability. So don't get too dejected, but yeah, if you're looking to be here next year, now is the time to really start looking at things, because I promise you, it's going to be very difficult to come here anytime sooner now than the summer if you're looking to build from scratch. Otherwise, everything's going to be inventory. So I'll leave that there now. But obviously, any questions, please reach out to me. I've tried to give you the best overview that I can of things right now. And look, things might change. They might change quickly. You know, the resale market is definitely slowing down. You know, less showings, less offers, more homes on the market, prices starting to decrease. We're starting to, you know, I gave you the incidents of where we saw that in new construction, but all I can tell you is the market right now here in July 2021. So I'll be back for another market update probably around September time, but in the meantime, you know where I am. Contact me, reach out, call, text, email me, and I will point you in the right direction. Thanks again. Take care.